We have a very, very special treasure out there. The marine waters off this coast are a tremendous asset to the community. It's important to all of us, as was mentioned before, to participate in the management of this valuable treasure. It belongs to all of us. It is our sanctuary. It's not just Noah's sanctuary. It's not just the government sanctuary, but it's all of our sanctuary. So I encourage you to get engaged and to work with us. I'm here really today to thank all of you for all the work that's gone on up to now, to encourage you to continue working. The public officials who've been supportive the entire time, the public at large, the different nonprofit groups that have all been supportive and working with us, our advisory council. We have an advisory council made up of people from the public and different working groups on research, education, and conservation. And to thank you, the community. Specifically for today's event, I want to thank very much Vicki Nichols and Save Our Shores, the Santa Cruz Harbor and Joe Townsend, and the Santa Cruz Harbor Business Association. Thank you all for coming. Enjoy the very special day we have today, and happy birthday, Monterey Sanctuary.
Council was established a year and a half ago, and there are 24 individuals that sit on that council, 12 different user groups, including representatives for diving, fishing, recreation, business and industry, conservation, number of other interest groups that are actively involved in using the sanctuary. We also have 8 government agencies with coastal authority serving on the Sanctuary Advisory Council. That includes the California Coastal Commission, the Coast Guards, the Ports and Harbors, the EPA, the State Resources Agency, and so forth. So you've got a good spread, and if you have a need, if there is a problem, there's always going to be somebody that you can move through who will act as your representative and make certain that it is addressed. And I'm very, very proud of our council and the work that we have been able to do over the last year and a half to make sure that we do lay a solid and lasting foundation for the sanctuary program. The last 3 years since we have obtained this sanctuary have not been idle. It has been a very, very busy time. And those of you who are here today, many of you are part of that busyness. There is a lot to be done. And I want to just let you know that you have an excellent staff operating out of the sanctuary offices, and you've heard from our manager, Mr. Terry Jackson, Commander Jackson, and all the others that work with him, our research, education, conservation people, our water quality protection program. These people are working around the clock to make sure that our sanctuary moves off the paper and into the water and into the field and is a reality and is a protective mechanism for generations to come. Do join us. We have monthly council meetings that are open to the public. We usually meet for a full day on the 4th Friday of the month, and we try to move around up and down our beautiful coast so that we visit various communities and give the public their chance to participate with us. We have a number of advisory committees that focus on research, that focus on the environment, that focus on education, and you are more than welcome to join in their monthly sessions and deliberations. And in addition, of course, in our new task force, which is to build a private foundation to raise private monies so that we can supplement the sanctuary budget and do that in a practical way and do that in a democratic way and avoid the user fees, which were supposed to have been instituted last year. And with your good help, we were able to beat back that proposal. This bay and this harbor and this sanctuary should be free and open for all to use in a myriad of ways. That's the purpose of the sanctuary program, to open up the opportunities for enjoyment and research and protection for our coastal waters, and not to charge for those. And we made that statement loud and clear to Washington. All of us working together were successful, and we now need to make sure that there are sufficient funds for the many things that we want to see happen. So we will start a private foundation. Those of you who are interested in serving on that, we will welcome you with open arms. As for the rest of you, come and see any one of us. Call us anytime or go through Vicki Nichols and the Sanctuary Steward Program. And with your good help, with your continued enthusiasm and dedication, this Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary will not only remain the largest protected marine area in the world, but the most popular protected marine area in the world and the most appreciated marine area in the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm here because this is an anniversary, and what we're celebrating is what we, the people, this community, has brought not only to the Monterey Bay area, but to the state of California, to the nation, and to the world. This was a bottoms-up political effort. National marine sanctuaries were just an idea in federal law that could be created if a community wanted to create it. And we seized that opportunity when we were forced with the decision of whether we wanted to sell the resources out here for oil exploration or whether we wanted to design a research entity called a National Marine Sanctuary where we could indeed preserve and protect and learn about what that ocean has to offer. And we chose as a society here, as a group of people, that we would pursue that route, and in that we would be able to design a sanctuary that would prohibit offshore oil and gas leasing. And that is why we're here to thank you, the people, for helping us who are in elective office to do that. I also want to take this anniversary because as we reflect on what we've created, not only the world's largest marine sanctuary, and there's protection zones in Australia that are larger, but as far as the federal United States program, this is the largest sanctuary in the program. It is one of the most diverse in the sense of what it has to preserve out there. History and shipwrecks, the Grand Canyon of the ocean on the Pacific coast, more flora and fauna than found anywhere else in any ocean in the world. An opportunity for our marine research centers around the bay to expand and give new job creations. Industry that will come in here, I think, in the research mode. I think biomedicine is going to reach out to the ocean to find solutions to illnesses on land for enzymes and so on that may be found from organisms in the ocean offshore. So we have recreated essentially a new frontier, as I used to call it. It's the Kennedy Space Center of the ocean. With this area, the drop-off of how we're going to access into the ocean and use the ocean to live in a sound management structure so that we can learn as the world gets bigger and more complicated how we live compatibly with the environment rather than trying to conquer the environment. And why I want to just say all this to you is this last week in Congress, the House Resources Committee, which I sit on, did an awful thing. There's a new attitude in Congress that says we only want to make money off the environment. And if we can take the public resources and find a way to get that money, not to give back and to invest in creating more parks and more recreation, but we're going to just take that money from the selling of the environmental resources and put that in what they call a lockbox so that it can't be spent, and that will help balance the federal budget. That will help cut the deficit. And that's exactly what the actions of the Resource Committee was this week in a partisan vote. And really what it did, when you're going to see this bill on the floor and it's going to be debated like mad, and unfortunately the votes are to pass it, hopefully the Senate won't take the same action. But if you look at that bill carefully, what we did in Congress this week, what the conservative leadership did, was to sell the forest. They sold the mountains to the ski resorts. Every ski resort that is on federal land now has the option to buy that land without competitive bidding. They then sold the rivers to the power companies. They sold the Arctic National Refuge to the oil companies to develop the oil out there. And the billions of dollars that are going to be gotten from that sale can't be used for any environmental purposes. They turned around and gave mining companies easier access to federal lands for mining purposes at less cost. It went on even to allow the Indian lands in this country to be opened up for gambling. And so what you're seeing is a wholesale sale of the environment. And fortunately, what we've done here is we've done an ounce of prevention. We did that 3 years ago, and we're celebrating that today. The battle isn't over, but we've got to find ways in which we can develop long-range planning ability to protect land so that they won't all be consumed, won't all be cut down, won't all be dug up, won't all be commercialized, because we want the generations of the children that are here today, their children, their grandchildren, their great-grandchildren, to be able to enjoy the resources in this coastline that we have been fortunate to have. I want to thank you for helping begin the ability to do that. And I want to encourage you to participate in the process so that it can't be taken away from you. And that process, more than anything else, is the cheapest process in America. It's called registering to vote, and on election day, it's voting. Those two things can make a big, big difference. 1996 is an election year. You need to protect what we've created here today, and we can do that through the political process. Thank you for making that political process. Bring it to us, and hopefully we'll work together to preserve it for our children. Thank you very much.